First of all, it's a marketing term to describe what we all do. I don't love the term. I think growth or product growth is something that has generally been ignored, and like when products moved online and traditional marketing wasn't really applicable anymore, then we had to invent something new. A lot of ways that companies grow, I think, are tactics and strategies that are pretty replicable, and there wasn't really a community around these things that were working. I think you can also say that growth hacking is about taking advantage of growth platforms. So you can go through different channels. Historically, there's been many of them. SEO on Google, something that's been big for a very, very a long time now. In the early stage of SEO, it was more Wild West. There was more people, taking advantage of how that platform worked. But every year, every now and then, there's a new platform, and you have to learn how that platform works and take advantage of that. I think fundamentally, growth hacking is kind of a very metric-driven product marketing. You try to understand motivation, psychology behind why people use your product, and then you try to you build your flows and you build kind of your product, how you enter the product and how you share and tell your friends about the product around that psychology. What is the real motivations for why people use things? If you don't have a good product, and if you don't understand why people are using your product, it's really hard to be good at growth, I think. And I've seen a lot of companies that think that they need help with growth when they actually need help with product. They haven't really figured out something people want yet. Everyone should be understanding how many new customers or users do you get per day, how many do you have, how many do you lose every day, and how many of the ones you previously lost can you resurrect every day. And I think you really want to understand why are all these things all these different things happening. Why am I getting new users? Why am I losing users? You can probably track all these things. If I'm gaining someone who's coming back who used to be who used to be a lost user, that's probably through an effort you've spent some time on as well. If you only spend time tracking new users, you miss some core parts of why people use your products. If Facebook only cared about new users, they would miss why people actually use the product. And if people sign up to Facebook, they didn't have any friends, they'd probably drop off quite fast. So unless you understand why the kind of user counting movements is happening, you won't be very good at understanding on building engagement or retention. I think Twitter and Instagram are good cases here, where on Twitter and Instagram, probably in the beginning they thought that what matters the most is how many photos do you send or how many tweets do you send. When they discovered that the most common interaction on Instagram and Twitter is not how many tweets you send or how many photos you send, is how many tweets you read and how many photos you look at. That is an entirely different type of thing to optimize for. So it's a difference. An example of that one might be the difference of the first, when you open the app, do you go to the read tweets or look at photos screen, or do you go to the write tweets or post a photo screen? And those are dramatically different behaviors. Most camera apps don't go to look at photos; they go to take a photo. And I think when you realize what is the one thing that you want to optimize in your product, you'll get better. That's the metric you want to optimize for, and then that can drive your product development. So, of course, in Voxer's case, it was how many messages do you send over a certain time and how often do you send those messages. But each product is different. So I think it's probably not that fair to apply a traditional kind of user engagement method on Airbnb. It's not really how the patterns on the site works. On the host side, for example, if you're someone who rents out an Airbnb, it's important to track, let's say, how active you are as a host, how often do you reply on messages, things like that. Are you a good host or are you a bad host? On the guest side, it's a little bit trickier because people don't travel that much. So I think they're just different type of, it's different type of metrics that apply to guests versus hosts. But I think every product have to find their own way of measuring their product.